We go now to Havelock North, where the boil water notice has still not been lifted. Now, tomorrow it will be 3 weeks to the day since, quote, a vomiting and diarrhoea outbreak first led the Hawke's Bay District Health Board to urge people to boil their water. 21 days on, Havelock North's water must still be boiled. The source of the contamination of the town's water supply is still not known, and 5,200 people or thereabouts have been sick, more than a third of the town's population. So why wasn't a water emergency declared? Under the Health Drinking Water Amendment Act of 2007, Section 69ZZA says, and I quote, if the Minister believes there's a serious risk of harm to the health or safety of any people arising from the drinking water supply, the Minister may declare a drinking water emergency. Labour's health spokesperson Annette King says it's absolutely clear that's what happened in Havelock North. It satisfied those requirements and a drinking water emergency should have been declared.
Well, in my view, it should have been. And as the Act says, the Drinking Water Act says, if the Minister believes on reasonable grounds, so it's only on reasonable grounds that there is a serious risk of harm to the health or safety of any people arising from drinking water, that the Minister may declare a drinking water emergency. And I think by Friday, 3-4 days after they started to report issues, that Friday night, there ought to have been an emergency called by the Minister of Health.
So by that stage, the Hastings District Council had the information that this was campylobacter, and by that stage there was a very real sense that large numbers of people were being affected.
Yes, and the DHB have now admitted that by Friday the alarm was raised, and by 6 p.m, the number of people turning up was peaking, and it finally peaked the next day. So you've got the hospital with the emergency department, you had people in the intensive care, you had GPs being overworked, you had the indication that this had been going on for a few days. That is when the Minister was advised he should have called a drinking water emergency. It would have then, John, enabled a number of things to happen, and I think a good example is the Hastings District Council now being accused of failing to bring information to the attention of the Hawke's Bay Regional Council. So they're now saying, well, you didn't tell us everything. What that emergency would have done is to allow a designated officer to pull together everything, to take control of the issues and require many things to happen, and could have been working with all groups, but they were pretty much working across each other by the sound of it.
So given that more than 5,000 people have become unwell, given that it appears to have been the largest in terms of numbers waterborne epidemic in the history of this country, why wasn't a water emergency declared?
It's a very good question, and I tried to ask the Minister and his associate in Parliament, and then the Minister the following week I questioned about water. There was a very dismissive approach that to raise it at all was being political. Look, it's highly political. It's political locally, it's with the people, it's politically at a central area, so much so that the Speaker of Parliament thought it was so serious it needed an urgent debate. But both ministers have tried to downplay it, and I have no idea why, when they had the power to do something about it by calling an emergency, taking control of the situation, giving certainty and ensuring that people were informed. One of the things that they could have done was to require that everybody was advised and take immediate steps to prevent, reduce and eliminate the risk from the public of drinking water.
It's Annette King. I spoke to her earlier today, but we haven't managed to speak to Jonathan Coleman. We've been trying all day to communicate with him, and he has simply been unavailable. We would like to ask him why Section 69ZZA of the Health Drinking Water Amendment Act didn't lead him to declare a water emergency in Havelock North, and we will try and get the Minister again tomorrow.